Hello, people. Welcome to episode 22 of the D&D Football Factory podcast. I'm Double D, and I've got the squad with me here for episode 22, which is the end of season roundup. We'll be giving out what is to combine, isn't it? The D&D Football Factory and the Shoot the Defence, you might as well say, awards for the 21 to 22 season. I've got my co-host from the radio show on the Saturday morning on Top FM. D-Man is in the place.
Hello. You're right. I'm good to go, man. I'm good to go. It's about time. Looking forward to this one still.
Boy, it's gonna be. It might be a bit controversial. It might just be a bit controversial. Big Stel is here from Shoot the Defence.
Good evening. How you doing?
I'm good. I see man's got the no chuff death background.
Listen, I've got a cup final to go to on Wednesday. I've got my tickets.
Come on.
I'm flying out Tuesday night, going to the game Wednesday. So, hopefully you won't see me ever again.
Oh my God. You mean you're going to the Cypriot Cup final instead of watching the Europa League conference final? How dare you?
Hey, listen, we might be in the Europa League final next season. You never know.
Come on.
With Neil Lennon in charge, anything is possible.
Come on, Amonia. Big Sam's in the house.
Good morning. Good evening, folks.
Jesus.
He's back on the sauce.
he thinks we're doing the radio show. Thanks for not having the camera right bang on your forehead this time, Big Sammy. You get me? Thanks, mate. And we've got Gallagher in the house somewhere, I believe.
Oh, Gallagher back in the building.
Yeah, the Dartford FC fan.
There he is. Last but not least, a lot of people that tune into the Footy Factory say, "Where's this Goliath that you talk about? I've never seen him." You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's here.
Yeah,
Episode 22, he's here.
I'm here. I'm out.
He's here.
Fresh home and that. No, I'm joking.
Man was in the big. Man did 6 years in the big, yeah? Say no.
Yeah. Fresh home, I'm out.
Is your team staying up?
Dartford, they're in the playoffs.
is the team you support going to make the Champions League?
Dartford.
Juventus.
I said, is the team you support going to make the Champions League? Don't try and duck the question.
Big up. Listen, I'm sick and tired of Inter Milan. We're going to get to them later. Yeah. Big up AC Milan finally doing their team.
Hey, shut up, man. Shut up. It's a Premier League podcast.
I'm good. It's good. It's good to be back.
Absolute
God bless
pagan.
you. Big up,
cool. We might have FBJ dropping if he gets back in time, but as I said, it's the end of season.
The King of London, the King of North London isn't here. What, we must be graced by his lateness? Is that what it is? There's only one King of North London in this room, yeah? Know yourself.
Know this, man. Right, as I said, it's the end of season awards. So we're going to be doing team of the season, player of the season, goal of the season, overachievers, underachievers, all of it. Obviously, when we first did this, that was 3 years ago now, wasn't it? We had Stel on there as we went through all the teams. Highly enjoyable episodes, lots of joke being cracked. But so we'll start with the team of the season, of course, which is the most important thing to a lot of people, and then we'll follow that up with the player of the season. So I'll start with my keeper, right? And then we'll go around, do keepers, we'll do defenders all together, midfielders, whatever. 4-3-3 formation I'm going with. And in goal, I'm going to have Alisson. Him and Edison have both got 20 clean sheets this season. We'll see on Sunday who keeps a clean sheet or whether or not they share the golden gloves or whatnot. He's had some games for Liverpool where he's had nothing to do, and then he's made a big save, whether it be a 1-1 or whatever. So yeah, Alisson is my goalkeeper. D, who you got?
I was going to say Jordan Pickford, you know. No, I'm joking. I reckon You know what? I don't think you can look past Alisson, to be honest. I mean, beginning of the season, everyone was talking about Mendy and stuff like that, but no. Alisson's now coming into that keeper where them elite keepers where you're surprised when he actually gets beat because you know whatever shot's coming at him, more than likely he's going to save it when it's one-on-one, tight angles, long ranges. He just looks like a rocket in the goal, so I'm going to go Alisson.
Still, who you going with?
Well, I'm going to go against the grain here. I'm going to go for a goalkeeper who joined from a pretty average league, from a club that has been dominating that average league for a decade, 15 years.
Is your goalkeeper Portuguese by any chance?
He is Portuguese.
He is, yeah. That would have been
Salah.
my pick 2 months ago.
Jose Salah, yeah. Because coming from Olympiacos, where you're winning the league championship every fucking season, having literally nothing to do. All right, they lost a couple of years, they didn't win the league, but you know, and he's been fantastic for him this season. All right, back into this season hasn't been too good, but they've had nothing to play for, really, Wolves. And I think the start of the season that he had, the amount of clean sheets, the saves that he was making, yeah, he's my pick.
You should say, right. Big Sammy, who you got?
Alisson for me. He has, not said he hasn't had some scary moments this season, but he's been dependable as always. Yes, he does share the clean sheet, Edison. But yeah, he's just been fantastic. He's always been fantastic for us. And yeah, Alisson.
Shadows, who you got? Goliath, who you got?
Yeah, I know they say, you know, the goalkeeper that kind of isn't the busiest and then has to pull out a save once or twice in a match is normally the one that you go with. But I kind of agree with Still. I'm going with Jose Sarr as well. Back end of the season hasn't been great, but he's hitting the nail on the head. Wolves ain't had nothing to play for. The easy choice would be Alisson. He's obviously up there, but I agree with Still. I'm going with Sarr.
Cool.
You're going with Sarr, yeah, excellent. Right, back 4. Right, so back 4, this was hard. I'm going 4-3-3, as I said. This was a tough one. Because I really, really wanted to include Andy Robertson in the side. But I'm going to go back 4 of Alexander-Arnold, Matip, Van Dijk, and Cancelo, which is a bit mad because obviously if City end up winning the league, then my team's going to have one more Liverpool player in it than Man City players. But yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. Trent has been consistent throughout the season, minimised the amount of poor defensive games he's had. Cancelo's been brilliant, whether he's played on the left or the right, made a lot of tackles, going forwards. He's like an extra midfielder for City. Van Dijk's done really well since coming back from his injury, and Joel Matip, I think, deserves his praise because he's actually outperformed Van Dijk in a number of games this season. But Van Dijk is the name that everyone is going to call. So yeah, that's my back 4. You get me? You got D?
Okay, Cancelo's my left back.
Mm-hmm.
Van Dijk in the centre back. Now the next 2, you know what? I'm gonna say right back Kyle Walker, simply because I think you've seen how important he is to that team when he's not in that team. You see the difference in City when he's not in that team. And centre back, I've been impressed with Conte. I'm gonna put Conte in centre back.
He's done very well in the games that he's played still.
Yeah.
Who's your other one? Wait, can I in who? You said that?
Van Dijk.
Oh, you did say Van Dijk. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Still?
My team is going to be full of random players, but I'm picking them based on the surprise factor and how well they've done given where they've come from and the teams that they play for. So the obvious 2, I'm going to go with Trent at right back because this is a kid who has come back from long COVID, has been absolutely sensational, especially since January. And you know what you're going to get from him: assists, goals sometimes. And while he can get caught defensively, God, as a right fullback, it's like I keep saying, he's like into a S&M with that whip he puts on the ball.
Oh my God.
Left back, I'm going to go for Cucurella at
He's
Brighton.
brilliant. I was actually strongly considering him. He's been really good. Though he started on the right.
It was either him or Cancelo, but no disrespect, but Cancelo plays for City, right? And the job that he's got, and you can say the same for Trent, but Trent has been exceptional throughout the season. And Cancelo recently has gone off the wane. He's made a lot of mistakes, especially in Madrid. But I think Cucurella's first season in the Premier League with Brighton, who no one really expects to do much, he's been fantastic for him. Centre back is obvious, Van Dijk. I don't think I can say anything more really about him that everyone else has said. And my other centre back is going to be Guehi at Palace.
I was going to say
he's been really good. Yeah. He's been really good.
I mean,
I like that.
His first season in the Premier League, he was on loan at Swansea, wasn't he, from Chelsea? And for him to come in at Crystal Palace, who let's get it right here. Crystal Palace had major surgery in the summer. New manager, 6 or 7 players leaving. Dan not being available, all these other defenders leaving, and he's been rock solid this season.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's in there for 2 unconventional players and 2 standard ones. Yeah.
Can I say Cucurella is going to be at Man City next season?
Well, it was surprised me. He was in Barca's academy, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yep.
30 million. He's going to be there, mate. But anyway,
he's a
not Newcastle. Really?
Nah. We're getting that. What's his name? Lodi? We're getting him, man.
Well, Big Sam, what are you doing? 3, 4, 5 at the back?
I'm doing 4 at the back, and it's pretty much the same as yours, Double D. I was going to. I didn't consider. Homework, bro. You know, I'm forever the plagiarist.
That's why you'll never win.
I am going to say right back Trent. Yeah, man. I mean, this season there has always been this question of whether or not he can defend, and I think this season he's been a lot better defensively. Attack wise, it is what it is with him. He's just brilliant. You know, so many strings to his bow. Defender variety. Trent right back. The centre halves, Virgil and Matip, especially Matip, because he's lost the whole season without any injury. And, you know, like what you said, arguably he's been the better of the 2, you know. And what I've liked from him especially is that some of the games you see him going on these little runs through midfield and, you know, almost, I think he's got 3 or 4 goals to his name this season. Amazing. And, left back, yeah, Cancelo. Madman at left back. You know, just like Robinson, he's able to balance between defense and attack.
Who?
So well.
Just like who?
Robertson.
The mouthy one.
Robertson, mate. Robertson.
The one that
You said Robinson. How dare you?
Sorry, Robertson.
See, he gets that from me. I told you, man, what his name is.
Go away.
He's a mouthy little something, but anyway.
Go away. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Big up Iron Brew. Goliath, Chadders, who you got?
Cancelo's one of the best fullbacks. The brother's unreal, man. So Cancelo, yeah, Trent has shut me up this year. You're not gonna get no arguments for me. I hear D when he says Carl Walker, and I was gonna be cheeky and flinging 2 right backs, but just because of what Big Sam said as well, I agree. Matip has been unreal this season. Absolutely unreal. So it's going to be 2-2-2. So you got Trent, Cancelo, Van Dijk, goes without saying, but definitely special mention to Matip. He's been unreal. Absolutely unreal. And Cucurella was very close, but no one's touching Cancelo this season. No one.
There you go. Right, I've gone... This was tricky. I've gone 3 because I've gone 4-3-3. Obviously, I've gone 3 in midfield, but Shout out coach and the man then. But I've got 2 City players in there. I've got De Bruyne and I've got Bernardo Silva. Now my third one, some might call it an alternative, but I've put him in because I don't know if anyone else would have him in, but without him this season, you've seen how much that they've got exposed, and he keeps things ticking over. And especially in the first part of the season, he had a couple unreal assists, scored a big goal in the comeback against Liverpool at home. I've gone for Kovacic with my 2 Man City guys. That's my midfield 3. Who you got, and how many you got in midfield at that?
I've got 3 midfield as well. I've got, obviously, the obvious choice is KDB, because for me, head and shoulders above anybody in this league. Especially when he came up from injury, he had a slow start to the season, but he showed why he's so good and why he's held in so much high regard, and that ultimate big game player, especially in the league, and that I can't think of any other player that really steps up on those occasions like he does. So he gets in there. I'm going to put Rodri in there because I think his role, it goes unnoticed, but this brother never loses the ball. He's so calm under pressure. He is the heir to like Sergio Busquets' crown. Like I don't think there's anyone in the league like him, and he can do everything. So and I think he's had a very good season. And
you disrespect him. You disrespect him for Fabinho, yeah?
No, don't get me wrong. Fabinho's a bad boy, but I don't think he's been outstanding this season. I don't think he's been
No, not because of that. I've got no problem with you picking Roger anyway. I said you don't think anyone could do what he does in the league.
Not with the way he's so calm on the ball. I don't see it. I just don't. The way, I don't. I think he's in the same mode as Busquets, bro. He's like that. But I'm gonna show my bias here, and I'm gonna say Bruno G from Newcastle. Jeez. Because the way he's settled in since he's come, I know Eddie Howe, rightly so, eased him into the first team and that. But since then, arguably he's the first name on the tee sheet. And every game that he's played, whether we win or lose, he's one of the top players in the pitch. He's always Newcastle's best player. And 9 times out of 10, he outshines the opposition. It's only against like the Man City and the Liverpool where he hasn't really, he's had to hold his own. But even then, he still held his own. So to me, he scored some outstanding goals. He scored regularly and very rarely loses the ball. He's good on the ball. He's just what Newcastle needed to push up that table. For me, I think he's only been there for half a season, but I'm still going to put him in
there. Okay. Still, who you got in midfield?
Okay, I'm going to go three in the middle. De Bruyne. Can't really say anything. Again, same with like, what is there to say that hasn't already been said? My next one is going to be Declan Rice. And I'm not one of these people that get on the hype train when it comes to English players, because, an English player that is decent is worth like 30, 40 million. But this lad, he's carried West Ham, especially in the middle of the park. When Souček's been quiet, Rice always steps up. He's been a fantastic captain, and he's really delivered when he's had to. And he's played how many games this season? It's ridiculous. You're talking about 38 league games. You got Europa League, FA Cup. I think he's been outstanding. So De Bruyne, Rice, and I was going to go with Rodri, but there's another player that City have in the middle of the park who, again, goes under the radar for some reason, and he's been phenomenal for him since joining many years ago. And you can tell they miss him when he's not there, and that's Gundogan. I was one of the doubters when he joined them from Dortmund. I've always had this thing about players joining from Dortmund. Never really rated them. That's why I call him fraudman. And this is a bloke that had a spinal injury, came to the Premier League, and I was thinking, how's he going to cope? But he's been one of their standout players. When people talk about Man City's successful era, they talk about Aguero, company, etc. Gundogan is like the next phase of the era that they're going to be talking about. He comes in for my team.
Cool. Sabi, who you got in midfield?
KDB, obvious reasons, just brilliant. I'm gonna also go for Rodri as well, because I think just like what D-Man said, he is the heir apparent to Busquets, and he's another guy that if you don't really watch what he does, you think he doesn't do anything, but he's so key and crucial to that midfield. Plus, he scored some banging goals this season as well. What's the one against South? I'm not going to say anything, but Rodri and I wanted to go for Bernardo Silva, but I am going to go for Thiago. I'm going to say Thiago.
I thought of him too.
Yeah, I mean, that guy, if he's not in our midfield, I worry. I like the fact that he started a lot more games this season, and the composure this guy has. The fact that he's been available for the majority of the season has been fantastic. But when this guy's on the ball, just instinctive, he knows what he needs to do with it. He's 10 steps ahead of a lot of midfielders in this league. And I mean, he is who he is. You know, he is who he is. And Thiago.
Cool. Goliath, who you got?
I'm going with two West Ham players. I'm going against the grain here. Kevin De Bruyne, we don't need to speak about him. I'm going with Declan Rice, as Stell mentioned. I'm also going with Bowen.
Okay, he's in my front three still.
He's in my front three, so
I've gone four. I've gone four in midfield.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have Bowen. I'm gonna have Bowen there. I'm gonna have Declan Rice. I'm gonna have Kevin De Bruyne. And you know who I've liked since you guys signed him? Liverpool. Diaz. Cold. For me now, again, I don't want to digress too much. It's something that we can maybe delve into later. Him and Jota, Salah can move now. He needs to go now. Diaz and Jota, but Diaz especially, cold footballer. He's unreal. His ceiling is ridiculous. Like, I think he's a frightening player. I think he's gonna be one that's next. In terms of when you're talking about big performance and player of the season and that, I think Diaz is going to be up there next year, maybe even the year after.
Jeez. Right, so up top, one of the names you just put there in the midfield, but obviously because you're playing four, so it works as a winger. I've got Bowen, I've got Salah, and I've got Son as my front three. Son could do his false nine thing that he does when Kane's not there. Son could still get golden boot. Only one goal behind Salah now. No penalties. Shot to goal ratio is very, very good as well because he takes a lot of set pieces and whatnot. He doesn't get in as many shots. There's certain other players that he's second in the league in scoring. Salah goes without saying, though he's not been great since the last couple of months. He's coming back from AFCON. Still has scored in nearly all the big games this season. But what's more impressive is that a lot of people get onto him with the fact of him being greedy, and he leads the league in assists. So if a lot of people were crying last season when Kane led the league in goals and assists, and they think, sure, he should have got Player of the Year or whatever. Salah's at the moment, unless Sunday changes, that he's doing that, and he's a shoo-in. But yeah, Bowen's been outstanding. But I've rated Bowen. I got put onto him when he was in the Championship at Hull, and he's come Prem, and he did well last season, and he's just continued on this season, but done it in longer stretches. And because Antonio has barely scored any goals since like October or November, without what Bowen's done, the goals and assists, though West Ham might fall short than where they wanted to in the league, without what he's done, they would be even lower. So yes, you got to go with Jared Bowen, man. You get me? So boy, D, who's your front three?
Okay, so like I said, I'm putting Bowen centre forward. Simply because, like he's, I don't need to say much about Bowen. The season that he's had, and I think if he can carry on this form into the early next season, he's a shooting for that national team for the World Cup. He surprised me. Don't remember. I think I've always thought he's decent, but what he's done this season, and like I said, when Antonio ain't been scoring the goals, bar Declan Rice, he has been the reason why West Ham have been that successful. The important goals that he scores and the regularity that he scores, like he's not a streaky player. He's consistent this season. He's been very consistent, so he gets in there. I'm going to put Salah in there, not begrudgingly, but I've never seen. Well, not say I've never seen, but the drop off in form that he's had, goal scoring form, the turn of the year, has been quite shocking. Let's be honest, it's been quite shocking. But he did so well in the first half of the season.
Mm-hmm.
He stays in that team. Yes, he's been getting the assists here and there and that, but you can see he wants the goals and he's not getting them. Like he's rushing his shots now, but like I said, for the first half of the season and the quality of goals that he was scoring, I can't. Remember, this guy was being touted as the best in the world at the time. He's not now, don't get me wrong, but that's the levels he was showing. They were comparing him to Messi and everything there. Like he was that good. The third position, I'm going to go with Diaz. Similar to what Chad said, I believe that he will be Liverpool's star man in the next few years. That will be his team. And Salah holding out on his contract, boy, he's looking at Diaz and they're thinking, boy, I think it's strengthened Liverpool's position now. Like, say, you are replaceable. Like, if Diaz can, tighten up on his shots, improve his shot accuracy and stuff like that as he gets forward, he's only young. I think, the world's his oyster, to be fair. And I speak to my brother recently, and he's like, similar to Haaland, Liverpool will be a stepping stone. No disrespect, but he will end up at Barca or Real Madrid later on in his career. But for now, I think he's going to go down as one of the Prem's best top players.
I rated him from he was at Porto, and then obviously he banged in goals in the flipping Copa America as well. Like he's effortless. His game is effortless, but he beat.
And it's one of the best signings Klopp's ever made, and at that particular time as well, because the lift that he's given Liverpool, you lot wouldn't be chasing a quad without him. Put it that way. Like
definitely not, because as you said, Salah's drop off. Mane's represented. In fact, he actually Mane. He actually compliments Mane better than he compliments Salah, as we've seen. But we won't get into that. We might carry that on into some extra time on Saturday or something. We talk about that. But he beats people effortlessly. And at the moment, even listen to his interviews and whatnot, coming to a new country, adapting and whatnot, how it's been hard. I still think he's playing within himself at the moment. Next season, he's going to shoot more and whatnot next season, and it's going to be a madness for defence as well.
Yeah. So that's my
close control. He's close control when he takes on a man and he dribbles. He's so cold. Like I used the word. It's been a long time since I've seen a winger that I consider frightening, and I literally mean frightening. Like you see that you're going to be the fullback that's marking him, and you're not sleeping that night.
Yeah, that's mad.
He's scared. He's scary. Honestly, he's scary. I think his ceiling is ridiculous. You lot smashed it signing him.
Well, we got to thank Tottenham and West Ham and that, because if they never applied pressure in January, we wanted him from the start of last season, but we were waiting until this summer to bid. So they were the catalyst. They just quickened up the process.
Yeah.
Thank God for that, because at first when we bought him, people were messaging me and saying, "Oh, why are you spending 40 million for forwards? You don't actually need him." And I said, "You just watch. We've been crying out for another person just so we can mix it up a bit." And you've seen that though the Salah goals have dried up, because now we've got NSG options now. You've seen that flipping what is brought to the squad, and in terms of the uplift, because being able to rotate has sustained the challenge. And as you said, we would have got knocked out of at least one of the competitions if it wasn't for having him to win their important goals as well. So so yeah, I hear that 100%. So Stel, front three.
Okay, Mo Salah.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a machine. That's a fucking machine. And ridiculous footballer. Absolutely ridiculous. The stats that he puts up every season. Wow. my other wide man, I'm going to go with a guy that, for some reason, do you remember when United were doing well in the 90s? People were talking about Cantona and Ince and McClare and all these other players. There was one player that was putting up figures week in, week out, being consistent, and no one really spoke about him. That was Andrei Kanchelskis. And for me, Sadio Mane is like Andrei Kanchelskis because he scores so many important goals. He's a clutch player. This is the thing. And look, Diaz has come in and he's been ridiculous. I'm not disputing that. But if you look at the timing of Mane's goals, you know, there was a game against Norwich, I think. Were you a goal down or it was 0-0 and you were struggling? Yeah, we were losing. We were losing 1-0. You're losing, yeah. And, you know, just out of the blue, out of nowhere, like Randy Orton, he puts the ball in the back of the net. And he's been doing that ever since he joined Liverpool. And do you know what? They talk about Salah. They talk about, you know, Van Dijk. They talk about Trent. And I'm looking at Mane, I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, if Liverpool win the Champions League this season, he's got to be up for Ballon d'Or. You fuck him on AFCON as well. Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, this is what frustrates me about this whole like social media thing, because it's almost as if like players like him, okay, granted, he's scored some important goals and he's been consistent, but it's almost as if because he's not constantly in the limelight, he goes under the radar. I think he offers so much to Liverpool. He scores goals with his right foot, his left foot, his head. You know, and this is a guy that joined from Southampton, for fuck's sake. Like, it's not as if he was Van Dijk was at Celtic, a big club, and then he went to Southampton and he re-established himself. Mane came from, was it Belgium? Or was it like a mid-table Dutch team or something? I can't remember. I don't even know. Like, so, and this guy gets constantly like ignored. Like, people mention him, but they don't talk him in the same breath as Salah. And I think he's such an important player to Liverpool, man. Yep. And my centre forward, and people are going to groan and moan, but for the season that his club has had, the shit that's been going on and off the pitch, his age, mate, and this isn't like a Man United loving. This is just fact there. So when you come on here, it's never been a Man United loving ever. So you're granted this. You have permission. Well, look, for me, this guy, he's come back to the Premier League after playing in Serie A, ripping it to pieces, and he scored 18 goals. He's 37, scoring 18 goals for this Man United, not 2008 Man United. Yeah, not 2008, not fucking 2005, not 2006, not fucking under Ron Atkinson or Dave Sexton, yeah, or fucking this Man United, the worst Man United I have ever seen, ever. And I've seen some shit Man United, even before the success with Fergie, before when Fergie first joined with fucking Ralph Milne and all these other fucking. Do you know what I mean? And this guy's come in at 37 years old, and he's had to carry. Oh yeah, and his kid died as well, mind. Yeah, and he's still scoring goals. Yeah. The psychology, and this bloke, he's 37 years old. He's got the body of a fucking god. Like, how can you be 37 years old looking like this? It's ridiculous.
D-man. The only CR7 we acknowledge is Thornton Heath.
Yeah.
That's just in case Simon Jordan's watching. Simon Jordan might ask if you've been Croydon or Thornton Heath before. You get me?
Stel is right in terms of Ronaldo and coming back at that age and coming back to that club. I mean, I don't agree, but I'm not going to deny a man who says that based on what he's just said. Yes, you are correct. My question to you still is this. What are your thoughts on people Ronaldo's age and older or slightly younger doing the Sue celebration? Be honest.
Check their hard drives. That's all I have to say. Operation U-Tree, all that kind of shit.
Is it acceptable if they do it if they score with him on FIFA?
I guess so. I guess so. Yeah, but yeah, that's FIFA, man. Like, and if you're playing against your mates and you want to, yeah, of course. Like, but come on, man. Like,
slow down. You mean make the player do it on the computer, or you get up and do it yourself?
Both.
Nah, brother, you cannot be getting up and doing that as a grown man.
if you're playing against your mates, yeah, listen, you know how it gets.
You'll get rushed.
Hang about. If it's 0-0 and you play against your mate that's been given all of this the fucking past couple of weeks, I'm going to come to your yard, I'm going to beat you on FIFA, and then you score a last minute goal with Cristiano. Of course you're going to do that.
I agree.
And then if there's a punch up, don't be surprised.
Bro, that's the nicest way of saying suck your mum. That's the nicest way.
I agree.
I'd rather say it, bro. They can't be doing them things.
When I see it full time,
do you know why Chance asked him that? Because he's probably just done it before he's come on here, but so he's trying to get advocated. He wants to be advocated.
No, I didn't.
What's the podcast? They agree with me.
But when I see it at full time, I mean, when he scores and I hear people saying it, it reminds me of like when Ruud van Nistelrooy scored. All the United fans would say Ruud, whatever, or whenever someone scores, they say their name, whatever. And that's Ronaldo's thing. But when I see it at full time, people doing that, you know, it's like, come on, man, like this is ill. This is disgusting. Like, I cover my daughter's eyes. You know, I'm like, what is this? So yeah, but that's the reason why I've got him in my team. I mean, obviously, there's other players that have done well. You can say, you know, obviously Son, I could put him in. Kane, I could put him in. But given, like I said, given the circumstances at United, man, I mean, who's actually performed in that team this year? Like, who's that? I'm not even going to use the word consistently because they've been consistently bad. But this guy has pulled this club out of the mire. Imagine where United would be without his goals this season.
Yeah,
contribution.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, that's like I say, I try to see things objectively and think the reason. Hence the reason why I put players like Guehi and all that. I don't. I could have easily put in Harry Kane because Harry Kane's been scoring goals, but he didn't score at the beginning of the season. But yeah, overall, like yeah, that boy Ronaldo or that bloke Ronaldo, fucking hell. So yeah.
No, I like your Guehi pick at the back, man. He actually is worthy the more I think about it. You know?
You can't change your mind now.
He's been very good. I've just said, well,
no, you can't change your mind.
I've not done a write-up yet, so you know, you might see a little change. Just saying. Yeah, me. Right, Sammy, who's your front three?
Front three, I've gone for Jared Bowen. For the reasons D-Man said. I mean, the guy is just... He's always there. He's always been there. FPL Don as well has helped him out in a few game weeks. Yeah, I mean, the guy has been brilliant for West Ham, and he's one of the more consistent players in the league. The other wide man, I'm going to go for Mo Salah. Has dropped off after AFCON. Still got a couple of goals, but he does lead in goals and assists, and earlier in the season the guy was just unplayable. I'm going to agree with Stel. I'm going to say Cristiano Ronaldo. He's just come back into the league and he's got 18 goals, you know, and this Man United team is just any team now. They're a dead team, but he's still producing the goods at the age he's at. I mean, when I was 37, I couldn't do the stuff that he's doing. You know, but
you've never been able to do this when you was 21.
Oh, man said when he was 37, 20 years ago.
He's one of them. Oh, I would have been a pro, but my knee. No,
but he's even with despite Man United dismal season, he's been the one bright spark in that team. And it's like he's just, and whether he stays or not, I don't know. But he's the one that's been doing the job for them when they, you know, when players haven't been performing. He's the one who stood out. So yeah, that's my front three.
Let me tell you something, right? Yeah. If Ten Hag keeps him in the next 5 or 6 years, the younger players that come through at Man United, we're going to be saying they'll be doing well because of Ronaldo's impact, him being in and around the club, the advice that he gives and everything. and this is what I'm talking about, having experienced players in the squad who perhaps don't play loads of games, but they have that thing there. I'll keep referring back to Henrik Larsson and Laurent Blanc when we got them in. All right, they're on the tail end of their careers, and Blanc was a disaster the first few months. But ask Rio Ferdinand and Wes Brown and John O'Shea what they picked up from that World Cup winner. Ask Wayne Rooney what he picked up from Henrik Larsson. Having players like that with that experience, you can't buy it, which is why with Liverpool right now, while Van Dijk isn't on the way out, he'll be there for longer than perhaps you'd expect him to be, because you've got a lot of youngsters still coming through. I mean, look at Harvey, what's his name? Harvey Elliott, is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You don't think he's talking to players like Thiago every day to find out more? You need these players in your squad for the younger players to break through. So, yeah, sorry, that's my interjection.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
No, that's my front three. But I was gonna wax a bit lyrical about Luis Diaz, because for me, without his arrival, again, like everybody's been saying, we would not be where we are at the moment. And
Second
you know,
place.
still a possibility we could do it. Come on, Villa. But what I would like to say is that one of the best wing forwards that I've ever seen was Ian Robin. And I always wanted a player in the Liverpool squad who was just like Robin, and I think Luis Diaz fits that mold perfectly.
Don't be silly. Luis Diaz has got more in his locker.
Luis Diaz is clear of Robin. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
This is Big Sam speaking. Allow him, man. We know he gets one of these every week, bro. Man said Robin, left-footed on the other side.
Sam's got new black seed oil, so we're lucky he's even here, to be perfectly honest. We're lucky he's even here.
Diaz can go both ways, bro. Robin, you know what Robin's gonna do, bro. He just couldn't stop it.
What I'm saying is that.
Can I give a special mention to Tony, who didn't mention, because he's another player that had a really good season, man. He's been fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
Fuck Brentford.
If you look to the left of that video, you can see Gallagher in the background behind both of them. You get me? Right. Right. Goliath, what is your front three, please?
Front two, innit?
Oh no, two, yeah, because he's got four in midfield, didn't it? Yeah. Who's your front two?
I despise myself because I don't even like mentioning Tottenham, man. I try and keep them out of my team. No, I'm serious. I try and keep them out of my team. So for that reason, Harry Kane can't make it. But I can't deny Son. I can't deny him. The guy has been unreal.
I won't deny it.
And for me, all jokes aside, when we played them before the game, especially as someone that watches Juve, as soon as they signed Kulusevski, I thought to myself, the rest of the league is in trouble. Because for me personally, and it pains me to say this, right, I think they've got probably the third best front three. Kulusevski, Son and Kane is ridiculous. If they can keep hold of Kane next season and sign a couple more players, that front three, Kulusevski is coming. He nearly made my team. He's been
bad boy, and I warn people.
Yeah, he's dangerous. Like when he's on form, so him, Kane and Son, ridiculous. And then, I mean, I'm sure we'll get to it, but to come off and come on to have Lucas Moura against tired legs as well, Tottenham have got a good squad. I'm going to say Son, and D-Man's going to think I'm taking the piss, right? I'm going to go, and I know he ain't played up front, but I'm going to go with Joe Linton, bruv.
Jeez.
Okay, all right.
I'm going to go with Joe Linton. What's happened?
Big Joe. Eddie Howe happened.
You could have just put five in midfield then.
Nah. No.
Box to box general, yeah? General.
And you know what? That's the word I was about to
cleaned up your team on Monday. Cleaned up the midfield, moving like Prime Vieira.
He's a beast. He's a beast.
Listen, the man was a janitor on Monday. Clean up everything, bro.
Groundskeeper Willie.
I'm telling you, where did this brother come from?
Hold tight, Eddie Howe. Yeah?
Exactly.
Stell's favorite player, favorite manager.
Listen, he was clamping like Arsenal players were on a double yellow, bruv. He was moving mad. Yeah.
No Xhaka.
Big Joey.
Yeah, Joey.
J7.
I was gonna say Son and Salah, but everyone's done Salah, and for me, he's tailed off towards the end of the season. No hate, but yeah, Joe Linton has to get thrown in there. Unreal for me.
Nice.
Brilliant. So right, so that's everyone's team of the season in. So right, who are we going with for player of the season?
But there can only be one.
I'm going, despite the drop off. Look, no, but it's tight because for the first half of the season, I'd say it's Salah. For the second half of the season, I'd say it's De Bruyne. But just for the fact of the ridiculousness in the first half of the season, I'm going to keep it with Salah. Goals and assists leading the league. I made the case, as I said earlier, with Kane last season, so I've got to stick to it and be consistent. So I'm going to stay with Salah for it, for how devastating it was in the first half of the season. Though I don't know what he's on the second half of the season. But yeah, I'm going with Salah. D?
It's got to be KDB, bro. Like, for me personally, he had a slow start to the season simply because of injury and the injections he was taking in his foot and that, whatever. But once he gets motoring, yeah, there's no one in the league like him. That man is, and like I said, the ultimate big game player, especially when it comes to the league, yeah, countless. He's done it season after season, but he's done it again this season. The big games, he's turned up with performances, not just goals, but performances, consistent performances. Yeah, he's their go-to guy. And if City bag the league on Sunday, it will be because of him. Yeah, to me, the quality of the assists, the quality of the goals that he's been scoring, the quality of the all-round play, he's just a beast for me, and he continues to be so. Head and shoulders above anybody else currently. Yeah, when the tail end of the season, or when the season really gets going, I think it's been him. So for me, KDB.
You think KDB is better than Wilfred Ndidi? How dare you? Right, I'm joking. Right, still, who is your player of the season?
Yeah, I'm going to go with De Bruyne as well, and not just for the same reasons that Deeb just mentioned. What we also need to consider is that De Bruyne has been playing with pain-killing injections throughout the season. It hasn't been just like a few months. It's been the whole bloody season. And I think City need to be very, very careful now, because we've got the World Cup coming. They're going to have a shorter pre-season. And there's a chance we might not even see De Bruyne at the World Cup, because if he gets injured between now and when the national teams are called up, it's going to be a long-term one because of how much pressure and strain there is on that injury. So like I said, City need to wrap him up in cotton wool or sign another player that can play in his position, because if they don't, it's going to be bad. There's going to be tears for him. But he's been outstanding, absolutely outstanding. And Joe, we can talk about his goals, the contributions, but he's a captain as well. This is the thing. He's not just this little kid that's in the middle of the park that's spraying balls left, right, and centre. He's a captain. He's a leader. They look up to him now. And he's been fantastic. Don't get me wrong. Salah is head and shoulders above most players, but I think De Bruyne edges it, especially at the business end of the season, scoring, what was it, 3-4 goals he scored at Wolves the other day? You know, that's just like, that's elite mentality. You know, the title isn't done and dusted yet. I want the title. I want it. So I'm just going to dig my club out the fucking mire. I'm surprised he didn't take the penalty the weekend.
I was going to say that, boy. Anyway.
Happy anyway that he didn't. Sam, who's your player of the season?
Player of the season for me is Jared Bullseye Bowen. For me, as for reasons I've already said, His partnership with Antonio has been a very good one. And there's some games where he's just been playing and no one can handle him. I would say that next season, if he carries on the way he does, I wouldn't be surprised if some of the big boys start calling, if they're not going to call this summer. But yeah, he's just been fantastic for West Ham this season. So Jared Bowen.
Cool. And last, Goliath, who's your player of the season?
I'm not going with Salah. I'm going with Big Kev. For me, I've got him up there alongside Gerrard, Lampard, Vieira, Yaya Toure, Scholes. That debate. I mean, sorry, let me take out Scholes.
Thank you.
I've got him up there with those guys in terms of, for me, he's honestly one of the best central midfielders I've ever witnessed in my life, let alone in the Premier League, in any league. The man is an absolute machine. He's unreal. He's an unreal baller. Left foot, right foot, he's got everything. And for me, I think he's shown it this season consistently. And yeah, he's playing with an injury as well. Phenomenal footballer, absolutely phenomenal. Something still touched on that I want to go back to just quickly before I forget as well. Sadio Mane definitely deserves special mention this season. And you mentioned that he goes under the radar lots. Listen, when Liverpool went back to Southampton once again, and I was one of the people leading the pack as well, drawing out D-Man and drawing out Big Sam, I was casting for the amount that you guys paid for Sadio Mane, and I soon shut my mouth. And when people started talking about he was the best in the world, when he went through his massive, I don't want to say purple patch, I think that's a bit disrespectful, but when he went through his little patch where he was considered the best in the world, no one had any arguments for that. So yeah, Mane gets a mention. For me, Kevin De Bruyne this season, or hands down.
Cool. Right. Now, interesting one, because I've actually been in another group with people and this caused controversy. Young player of the year. I'm going to go. You could say it's an alternative pick, but I was gassing this guy up last season when he was at West Brom. This season, he's been on loan at Crystal Palace. And though the last, I'd say, 6 games or so, he's not really done much. It's only been 1 goal recently. I don't even think he's got any assists. But just for the devastating effect he's had, just for when I've gone down to Sellers Park this season, how well he's looked, my young player of the season is Conor Gallagher.
I'd agree with that. Mine's Conor Gallagher as well. As you know, like I see him every other week because I'm a season ticket holder. What he's done in that Palace midfield, they've been lacking for a very, well, since I've seen them play, to be honest. Like, he's got a hell of an engine on him. Like, to box, he's got it in him. And he can tackle, he can attack, he's got an eye for a pass. You know, he knows when to pass or when to run off the ball and stuff. Like, he could be, like, I personally hope Palace keep hold of him, but I don't think they will. But if he goes back to Chelsea, I do not see why he can't put his stamp on that first team. He's that good.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think he will get better and better. As long as he's given the opportunity, he will get better and better, because you look at him and he studies the game. You can tell he studies the game and he wants to learn. Yeah, and he's improving as the game's going. Yes, he's had a bit of a tail off at the end of the season and stuff. But for the 3 quarters of the season, yeah, as a young player, phenomenal for Palace. So yeah, he's part of the reason why they've had such a decent season. And changing their style of play, he was key to that. So yeah, shout out Vieira for getting that in through the door as well.
He does really good interviews. And my favourite person in interviews is James Maddison. But I love Gallagher's hunger. They're always trying to be like, asking him, do you think you'll get into Chelsea team? He's like, no, but I'm here now at Palace and I love it here. Like, if Chelsea told him today he could go to Palace permanently, he will take that with, he would say that because he's loving his football. He's broken into the England squad. As you said, the engine of the box to box. He's a decent passer. Some of his finishes this season are what have surprised me, but I knew it was coming because he spoke about the fact that he's a box-to-box midfielder, but he said it seems like box-to-box guys don't get the respect that they get unless they get more goals. And
he's been watching Frank Lampard. The tape of Frank Lampard, you can tell.
He's been scoring
the timing of his
years,
run and stuff. Yeah.
Chelsea will take the money and run.
Huh?
Chelsea will take the money and run.
Boy, they're ridiculous. They need
Chelsea work. If they do, at the minimum, they'll put a buyback in there like they've done with Livramento and Guehi. You get what I'm saying, bruv? I mean, their academy is just on stuff from years ago. But
They'll take the money and run. They'll take the money and run.
You get what I'm saying? But no, he is levels. Like he's finished when they beat Everton. Was you at that game, D? When they beat Everton?
The late goal, innit?
The late goal, yeah.
When
he called it, he scored a bad boy goal away at Brighton. He scored that goal at West Ham earlier on in the season, away at West Ham, when he controlled it, turned, cut, and then banged it bottom corner past Fabianski there. Gallagher's a player, man. He's a player, just a joy to watch, man. You get me? So, boy, Stel, who's your young player of the year?
Cast your mind back to last June or July. I think it was June, when England lost the final of the Euros, and I said this player is going to remind me of David Beckham in the sense that he had a dreadful end of a tournament. He was vilified by the public, and he will come back to have one of the best seasons in his career. Now, Beckham obviously won the treble, and this lad wasn't going to win the treble. But I think the way that he has conducted himself on and off the pitch, his performances for his team, who have perhaps overachieved given their squad, and he's played every game this season so far, and that's Bukayo Saka. He's played 37 league games this season. I think he has been phenomenal this season for the pressure that he's been under, the weight of expectation, his contribution, 11 goals this season. The kid shows no fear. And you know what? That club and that fan base, no disrespect, they put a lot of pressure on younger players. But this lad, it's like a duck to water. And I think he's been phenomenal, honestly.
Yeah, it was close for me. It was a close one for me. But yeah, Saka. The funny thing with Saka is that I saw him. I even asked Gallagher, because he wasn't necessarily too high on him at stage. I saw Saka play quite a few seasons ago for Arsenal in a Europa League game. And I was like, oh, this guy can play. And I went and asked every Arsenal fan that I know, and out of about, well, not everyone, but I asked at least 10 of them, and like one person rated him at the time. So it's interesting now to see how a lot of them, obviously you can change your opinion, but how they rate him now. I saw him doing bits, just the way he touched the ball, beating players, and what I saw from earlier. I thought, this guy's got a little something about him. And now all of them sing his praises. But back when I was first asking them about him, they're like, I don't think he's going to make it. I don't think he's that good. He can't beat a man, this, that, blah, 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 and all this. But, you know, is what it is.
Probably, for me, it's also the mental side of things, because, you know, as I said, he missed a crucial penalty in the biggest game this country has had in decades. We're not talking about every 4 years they get to a semi-final, they get to a final and they're in contention. Apart from the World Cup semi-final, they hadn't reached the final since 66. 66. And he steps up to take a penalty to keep them in the competition, and he misses it. And everything that he went through, from the racism, from the abuse on the terraces, to all the kind of shit. He's 20 years old. And yet he comes on that pitch and it's almost as if it didn't happen. It's like he's so focused. He doesn't shy away from games. He doesn't go missing. All right, he has bad games, but let's get it right. Which 20-year-old has a fucking, you know, the game of his life every single game? And he's performed consistently. And he and maybe a couple others in that Arsenal team have stood out head and shoulders from the rest of their experienced teammates. As I said, that kid is something special, man. And at 20 years old, yeah, he's got a great future ahead of him, man. He's been brilliant this season.
Yeah. Goliath, who's your young player of the year?
I didn't want to be biased and say Saka. For me, it was. I don't want to say the obvious choice, but it kind of is the obvious choice. I mean, now someone else has said him, I can say him and not make it feel like I'm being biased. My only issue with Saka, and this is coming from someone that's watched him all season, and you just touched on it. There are games, I don't want to say that he goes missing, but there are games where you want him to beat his man. You want him to get past his man. You see, when I talk about Diaz and his high ceiling, Diaz's ceiling is higher than Saka's in the terms of dribbling, close control, how you are on the ball. Do you remember the YouTube compilations you used to see of Nicola Pepe before we signed him? The ones you used to see of Ousmane Dembele, like that level of beating a man. I want Saka to kind of get to that level. I want you to be able, Salah, I want you to be able to strip, pause. I want you to be able to strip that fullback, get past him every single time. I think if he can learn to do that, the world's his oyster. For me,
well,
I think
Diaz has got 5 years on him. Let's get that right for a start. He's
Yeah,
got
but
and he's got Champions League experience on him and international experience. So,
Yeah.
like, you know, I get what you're saying, because you want to see more. You want to see that, head down, beat a man.
Yeah,
But at the same time,
that level of dribbling is what I want him to get to. There are people of Saka's age that do have that in their locker. I just
is that down to the manager then? The team instructions?
I'd say yes. You see it in games where they do get the ball out wide. He does do it. But I just want to see it. And again, I think I'm proving your point in the sense that we're putting a lot of pressure on these young players, because I'm just about to say I want to see all the time from him, and I need to remember he's 20. But then I also need to remember the manager's put him in that position. So if you're gonna go out there and play every week, these are the things you're gonna have to do. Is it a season too early? That's another conversation. But yeah, I think a little bit more consistency from what's been an already good. A little bit more consistency from what has already been a really good season, and I think he'll become a world beater.
Sammy?
I was going to say Phil
Bowen isn't in contention, sorry.
He's
too old.
I know. By about 1 year or 2 years. I was going to say Phil Foden, but I am going to agree with D-Man and Double D on this one and say Conor Gallagher. Foden has more goals and assists, but Gallagher, for me, I like what Vieira's been doing at Palace, how, as opposed to where Hodgson was there, Zaha was still like the talisman, the standout player. Without him, nothing happened. But now, the goals come from everywhere. Mateta, Edouard, even the young lad Elise, he's got in on the action as well. But Gallagher is I didn't know much about him before the season, but he's been a significant contributor to where Palace are. And like the guys have said, he can pass, he can shoot, he can take on a man. He plays with no fear. And he's for I think for Palace fans, D-Man, he's watched the games, he's seen it. He'll tell you for himself that he has done. But the kid has been fantastic for them, and he's just been part of the reason why Vieira's team has done so well this season.
Right. Manager of the season.
Jeez.
Could be controversial. I wanted.
I know where this is going. I know where this is going already.
I know. No, seriously. I wanted to go for Eddie Howe, but I'm just thinking that
you have to wait till Sunday.
I've got to go. Technically, yeah, we can revise it, but as we're here,
you have to wait till Sunday. You have to wait till Sunday.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
Jurgen Norbert Club.
I'm sorry. You might even have to wait till the Champions League final's been played.
No, this is off Prem. This is
No.
Prem. This is Prem. This is Prem. I'm going Klopp. I wanted to go to Eddie Howe. I was that close to going to Eddie Howe. I'm going Klopp. Because I'm hoping the Newcastle fan picks Eddie Howe. That's why.
Of course, I'm going to pick Eddie Howe. Yeah.
Come on.
Now, I'm not going to spend too much time because we had it in the last podcast there. But we know that, obviously, we know spent money, no doubt about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have to consider as well the no wins in 14 games.
Mm-hmm.
The 5 points of drift off safety when he took over. Yeah. He got us well clear of relegation. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And to a man, he's improved every single player. Yeah.
Say it again.
Yeah. Every single player. And we talk about Joe Linton transformation, but
even the cells.
Bar Lascelles, yeah. but you got to talk about look at for instance Emil Kraft, yeah. He was our third choice right back, yeah. Now Trippier's been injured, but he's displaced Manquillo and he hasn't looked back. And if you look at his performances under Steve Bruce to what he's done now, yeah, and the team as a whole. I don't think people realize how diabolical Newcastle were under Steve Bruce. And when I saw them at Palace, oh my! Listen, I can't even go into that. But the transformation in the players, the style of play, what he's done for the club, the way he's lifted the mood of the club, and he's actually got us playing a bit of decent football. To me, I can't look past it. I can't look past his achievements for me personally. I know I'm biased because I'm a Newcastle fan, but you just don't understand the pain I've suffered for how many years to what it is now. Like now,
he's doing it.
His press conferences. Yeah, I watch his press conferences. I watch his training. All of that, like the difference that he's brought to that club, unreal. So for me, Eddie Howe.
Big up. Still, manager of the year or the season, rather.
Antonio Conte. Antonio Conte comes into this Spurs team that are dead on their fucking knees, haven't got a clue what they're doing. They're running 15 kilometers more every game. They're more organized. They're not conceding as many goals. And the guy's fucking bonkers. He doesn't take any shit. And somehow he's actually working well with Daniel Levy. Wallah, what's going on?
I've never heard that said. I've never heard that. I've never heard someone say that before in my life. But anyway,
no, mate. You know what? And to be honest, as I said, the transformation has been phenomenal. You know, as I said, Spursy. That's the term that people use. But you can say that we still got Sunday to talk about because it obviously hasn't happened yet. And there is a chance that the Spursiness could happen, but. No, I can't see it with this manager. If it was a Pochettino, if it was Mourinho, I could see it. But this guy, he's not going to let it happen. No fucking chance. And the players ain't going to let it happen. And I'll tell you this for now, him managing to get rid of Dele Alli, fucking hell, like he deserves that award just for getting money for this fucking clown. You know? So, yeah, he's been brilliant, man. He's been absolutely brilliant. Emerson Royale looks like a decent player. What's going on? Ben Davis is looking like a centre-back. What's going on? Eric Dyer is looking like a footballer. What's going on?
That's what I was going to say. When you look at the defenders, Bar Romero, because obviously pay for Atalanta, and everyone knows Atalanta have done it, like basically my second Italian team. You don't rate, you can't really rate any of the defenders, and he's got them conceded less goals. And you sit there and you think, got them organised.
Ryan Sessegnon, what a player he's turning out to be under Conte. You know, Kulusevski signed him, been outstanding. Bentancur has been brilliant. Like I said, you know, it's difficult to change the mindset of footballers who have got a defeatist attitude. But he's come in and, all right, it took him a bit of time. And they've had some really bad defeats. But, you know, they went to Anfield, they're unlucky not to get 3 points. They beat City at the Etihad. All right, United gave them a mauling, but that could have been completely different if spots and maybes. That victory against Arsenal was huge, absolutely huge. And, you know, obviously, okay, Arsenal haven't won a game since the new White Hart Lane has been built, or rebuilt, shall I say. but the manner in which they won that game, the first 5-10 minutes, all right, it was quite edgy, and obviously the sending off had a big part to play, but they took Arsenal apart second half. It wasn't even a joke. Like, you're looking at, you're thinking, what's going on? And that's down to this manager, man. He's just, he's brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
There you go, Sammy.
Shout out to Thomas Frank and Graham Potter. Both have done well with their respective teams. But again, I think like last season, I'm going to go with David Moyes. I think West Ham, you could say now this is league, but they've put themselves in a position where they can become more of a European staple, if that makes any sense. And for them to get to a semi-final whilst navigating their way up the league, it's unfortunate they didn't beat Frankfurt. But
do you not think they bottled it this season?
No, it's difficult. It's difficult for any team, because that Europa League is arduous. It's an arduous campaign. So for any team to balance that and the league, it's always going to be difficult. I mean, Burnley, Leicester, it's tough. But look where they are on the table. They could still, I think, are they 7th now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think if they win their game, I don't know who it is they're playing on Sunday, and right. I think United flop against Palace, which is a possibility, then it's Europa again. And it's considering them not winning the semi-final, not getting to the final, that's an achievement as far as I'm concerned. West Ham are more of a formidable side under Moyes than they ever have been. So that's credit to him and the team. But as a manager, we'd laugh at, I mean, not so much at Everton, but it's still at Man United. It's a forgettable one. Then he went to Sociedad, didn't work out, and now he's found his place. So, big ups to him. He's my manager of the season.
Cool. Goliath, who's your manager of the season?
I don't think the league is as competitive as everyone's making it out, right? Let's be clear. This season especially, it's Liverpool, City, and then there's everyone else. What
do you mean? Chelsea won the league in October. What are you talking about?
But this kind of proves my point. As bad as Arsenal have been, right? As bad as Tottenham have even been, Chelsea are what? 3-4 points ahead rather. So as far as I'm concerned, manager of the season goes one or two ways. You either pick Klopp or you pick Pep, because the rest of them bar one team, and this is where I'm going. The rest of them bar one team this season have been abysmal, right? And as D-Man touched on, the first 14 games, 0 wins, right? And to have one game left of the season, and for Newcastle to have lost 2 more games than Arsenal in 5th. I'm going to say that again, right? 14 games without a win. And then to end the season with 2 more defeats than Arsenal in 5th.
And which teams beat us at home under Eddie Howe in the league?
It's Eddie Howe. For me,
100 million.
I know this is a discussion, but it's not even a discussion. Who else are you going to pick over Eddie Howe?
If he doesn't have 100 million in January, do they stay up?
Thomas Frank did well. Thomas Frank was brilliant, in fact.
I don't think it's even fair to run that excuse, considering he only brought in how many players?
And after that, people still telling us we're getting relegated. Odds on for relegation.
Yep.
I don't think this season people can throw that excuse in there. I'm going to give him a
Well,
black.
if people can use the excuse that Man City have spent money to win the league, then surely you can.
And we was having this conversation in the group chat yesterday, weren't we?
Yep.
Was it yesterday?
Yep.
That excuse is null and void now, especially, listen, Sturridge and Suarez, so it was Brendan Rodgers. Brendan Rodgers nearly done it on a limited budget, right? And then Claudio Ranieri just came and shut everyone down. So that excuse can't run anymore and hasn't been able to for years. So for people to say that now is ridiculous. Look how much Arsenal have spent, look how much Man United have spent, and look at where we both are. Money means nothing. If you're giving the money, listen, if you're giving money to a man that don't have sense in his head, it means nothing.
No, I agree with you. You need to spend the money, and you need to when you spend the money, you need to recruit correctly, and you need to get the best out of these players. And I get it. And I said it on the last show we did together that Eddie Howe deserves the praise for molding those players and getting the best out of them. However, if he didn't have that money to spend, he'd be playing with the same squad that he inherited under Bruce. So would he have got the best out of those players?
I think he would have.
I think he would have.
I think he
They-
would have.
they'd be in the same position.
the main persons, two of the people he's improved the most, Joe Linton and Kraft, they were already there.
Okay, but what
Look at
about the players
Shelby's
that he's...
performances.
Okay, but yeah, well, Shelby has been brilliant for Newcastle. Let's get that one right.
Yeah, under
But,
Eddie Howe, because he was useless before that.
What, really? Under Bruce?
Under
He was
Bruce.
useless?
The
Yeah, he
Newcastle
was-
fans wanted him out.
Bruce!
Newcastle fans, he wasn't even getting a game. Newcastle, remember, he was a loose chicken. Yeah, headless chicken, getting sent off and needlessly and all that. Putting on weight.
I don't know what. Yeah, basically what I've been trying to say is, if you take the 100 million out of the equation, if he had 5 million to spend, would he have got them in the position that they're in now? I don't think so. They would have stayed up. They'd have stayed up.
Yeah.
But to be punching at this level, no, I don't think they would. And this is the argument I have with Rod all the time about Graham Potter. You know, we have a back and forth. You know, he's Team Howe, I'm Team Potter, and you know, I think the guy, he's worked on a shoestring budget, and they've had some bad results. But I'll tell you this: if they had a goal scorer, someone that could put the ball in the back of the net, where would they be?
And I tell you this though, had Eddie Howe taken charge of Newcastle and had our players fit, we don't need to buy Chris Ward and have Callum Wilson and that. We wouldn't have been near to relegation under Eddie Howe.
That was a quarter of the money to spend.
And the only Potter we acknowledge is Harry, bruv.
How dare you?
No, paper. Yeah.
Graham,
Do you know what? I
put a paper. Hey,
I let the Cristiano Ronaldo celebration slide, but this Harry Potter thing now has got me worried about it. I don't know what's going on.
You triggered him.
I don't know what's going on now.
Being Gryffindor, bruv.
You wish Graham Potter was in charge of Arsenal. You lot would be balling out. Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah, I said it.
Facts.
You ball it out, and Champions League would have been wrapped up. None of this nonsense that's going on. You get me?
You ain't heard no chat from me for a reason. I follow Dartford, bruv.
Trust the process, bro. Trust the process. Right, last one, and then when we do the individually, what we did a few seasons ago, we individually went through each team, player of the season, etc. and whatnot. We'll save the overachievers and underachievers for that. So last one, goal of the season. I would have, it's a Mo Salah goal. Up until a few weeks ago, I would have given it to the goal against Manchester City, because I think just the timing of it, and it was outrageous because City had been better in the second half. Liverpool came back better in the first half, rather. Liverpool came back into it in the second half. It came with some devastating counter-attacks. And then that Salah goal was brilliant. But for the fact it was 26 passes, every man touched the ball, and then the pass from Sadio Mane, and then the control, I'm going to give it for Salah's goal against Man United. And for the life of me, I can't understand how this goal did not win goal of the month. I think Xhaka's goal won ahead of it. I don't know how that runs, but whatever. I'm giving it to Mo Salah.
Okay, so similarly, I'm gonna go for Salah, but I'm gonna go the other way. Yeah, that goal against United, or whoever it was United, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, phenomenal, and mainly because don't go the passing, everyone touching the ball by Van Dijk and that, but the pass from Mane, yeah, to me
Outrageous.
made that goal outrageous. Yeah, but I'm still gonna go for Salah against Man City, simply because of the individual effort and the quality of the opposition. Yeah. We know this Man United team is dead. Harry Maguire's dead. Yeah, all of the defense is dead. So, not saying anyone could have done that, but it's like playing against a Sunday League team, let's be real. But the one against Man City, to me, against the quality of the opposition, arguably the best team in the Prem, and the close control, the way he dropped man on the floor and that, and the finish, nah, man, I can't see past that. What I will say though, had Callum Wilson scored that goal against Ramsdale midweek, that would have been my goal of the season. Yeah, that would have been my goal of the season.
Fam, I almost trashed my front room, bro. I was like,
I went mad. When he hit that ball, I went crazy. Yeah, but just why? But yeah, for me, Mo Salah against Man City.
Still, what's your goal in the season?
Boys, I'm not going to lie to you, right? When I was growing up, I used to really like Lothar Matthäus, the Inter Milan and Bayern Munich midfielder. He was phenomenal. And there's also another German player. He was a sweeper, actually. His name was Klaus Augenthaler, and he just had a rocket of a right foot. And I love goals that are just like from long range, are just smashed in. And Rodri's goal against Everton, where he just... I don't know how the net didn't burst. Like, he just levered it. You know, you can say Kovacic's goal against Liverpool
against us
as well,
yeah,
but
that was outrageous.
No, Rodri's goal, I don't know. Yeah, and if the goalkeeper got a hand to it, he'd have lost his hand. That's it. That's it. I mean, I could talk about a goal Monia scored as well, which is very similar. But I could bring up on screen as well, but I'll do it later. But yeah, no, it's
if the Monia win the cup, we'll do the Monia special.
Yeah, okay, yes, damn right. But Rodri's goal was just like, yeah, get out of the fucking way, mate. You're not stopping that. You're not stopping it. Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
Actually, saying that, D, because obviously you picked Salah's goal against Man City, would you say that was the game of the season as well? The first 2-2?
Yes. I think the second one, it comes close, but this one, yeah.
The second one, bar the Sterling disallowed goal, kind of tailed off towards the end, but the first hour, 70 minutes was brilliant. But
this other one that first one was like a boxing match, like slugging.
Yeah, that first one, that's what I'm saying. Back forth. And then just when you thought, because the crowd were going nuts, that Liverpool were going to win it, then De Bruyne came and then made it 2-2. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the thing. The 2-2, the two best teams in the Prem going back and forth. Yeah, to me, that was the best one.
That game was nuts. Right, Sammy, who scored your goal in the season,
rather? Still already mentioned Rodri. I thought that goal was... I jumped out my seat when I saw that. I thought it just came out of nowhere. And I think in the same game, Sterling scored a very good goal as well. I'm going to go for a goal scored... I was trying to remember it for the longest time, but Lanzini scored a mad goal.
There's
Palace. And it kind of gave me Pepe Cisse vibes against Chelsea. The way it was a ball from Declan Rice, and
Rice went on a little run and then played it to him, and then like you flicked up, touched it, and then smacked it into the goal. But when you see it from behind the goal, you was at the game, D, right?
Bro.
No, that was away. That was West Ham Palace, isn't it? It was, wasn't it? Or was it Palace?
West Ham were away, yeah, but Palace at home.
Yeah, it was at Palace.
Yeah,
it was at Palace at home, yeah.
I didn't go to that.
Oh, you didn't go, okay, because I thought the goal was good anyway, but then they showed another angle, and his technique, the way his foot goes when he hits the volley, I'm like, oh, Dean!
And I said, man, that was seeing it. When I saw it first, I was like, what's this? And when they slowed it down, I thought I had to give this guy ratings. Brilliant goal. Brilliant goal. Great finish. Yeah.
Jeez, man, like Uncle Stelio.
Giving us the visuals
And I
there.
could bring that up because you're getting copyrights because that's from Sky Sports, so you'll be all right.
Yeah,
Should have put it on the big screen. But yeah, that was a bad boy goal still. Yeah,
So,
I hear that.
which goals did we go with? So we gone for Mo Salah's goal. Let me see if I can get that one up.
Oh,
Salah
yeah.
versus City.
that Lanzini goal was a man. The commentator was just in awe, bro.
This is the one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, Ronaldo. Oh,
Yeah, Laporte in the blender, you said.
oh, that's a messy ass finish, you know. It's a messy ass goal, you know.
That's what everyone was coming on this, and they were coming on there saying, innit? And for some reason, people started cussing Cristiano when they said that, though he's arguably the greatest of all time, he said he doesn't score goals. He doesn't score goals like that.
Everton goal. This one.
This Thunder bastard.
Is this the one?
Yeah.
This is where the defender doesn't clear it. Yeah, he just goes bang.
Wow, that's an angry man, you know. That's an angry man.
They said Declan Rice is better than me. Tobias Harris over me.
Gallagher, what's your goal, man? I'll try and get one ready.
He only scores bangers. Xhaka versus Man United.
You're deflected.
Oh, come on.
I like that. I like this goal. I can't lie.
Bro, Odegaard and Saka's goals against Watford were better than that goal.
All right. I don't know if Stel's going to get
All
that.
jokes aside, no, don't pull the goal up.
Pull it.
I only said that because it's on the D&D Footy Factory TikTok. It's hilarious. It's got to be Salah's for me versus it's like he didn't dribble, he just chopped and just changed direction and just sent man different
Slalom,
ways. What the Watford one?
No, the Salah versus Man City, he just showed.
Oh, okay, no, but remember he's got a similar one
The following week
against Watford the following week, and that one he was leaving man on their bottom, bruv.
Yeah, but
I'm not
here's
being
the
funny.
question, though.
Sending man for hot dogs, bruv. Cheesecake and that, moving like Buffy and making
It's
the man
Watford.
sending man for cheese.
Yeah, it's Watford.
Okay, it's Watford.
This one, it's got to be this one.
Yeah.
It's got to be
It's
this
Watford.
one.
Man was doing the slalom route.
Who did he duppy? Was it Cathcart or for me? Who was it?
Cathcart.
Bob the Builder, man. It's Watford.
Behave yourself.
But here's a question, though.
Behave yourself.
I've got a question.
It's Watford. I don't care about that.
I've got a question. You see the Liverpool, the other Salah goal you was talking about, the passing move, yeah?
Yeah.
How bad that was, yeah?
Yeah.
Have you seen a better passing move goal than
Go away.
Wilshire's goal? Jack Wilshire's goal.
I need to
Against
say.
Norwich.
That, for me, is the best passing move. Was it against Norwich? I don't know who it was against.
Yeah.
That goal there, disgusting.
Do you know
Absolutely
what?
disgusting.
Joe, it was against my team. Do you know what my favourite passing move goal by Arsenal was? When we beat them 2-1, but Mella scored at the end. The Patrick Vieira goal in the 04-05 season.
Yeah, that was a big
goal.
one.
Yeah, the passing
Vieira,
and the finish. Vieira's control and finish complemented the passing move. You get me? That goal was outrageous.
The run as well.
Hey, when you say podcast during the summer when there's no football, we do one of our favorite Prem goals all time, brother. You nuts? Hey, and then still just rolls them up on the YouTube, yeah.
Yeah, that's not
You get me?
No worries.
Yeah. That would be wicked. That would be wicked. Yeah, it's all right. So we'll leave it there then, and we'll come back to
I need you guys to rate this goal out of 10. I have to do it. I don't give a fuck.
What, Diamante goal?
Don't give a fuck. This was when Berg was in charge. When we were playing all right football. This is our left back.
I've seen this.
This is our left back. Bosh! Have some of that. That's our left back. Yeah.
Okay.
People listening on SoundCloud can't see this right about now. Or on Spotify. People listening on Spotify can't see this right about now. You get what I'm saying? That was a thunderbolt, bro. Brilliant. Right. So we'll leave it there for episode 22. That was fun. Time shoots by, man. There were other things I was going to cramp in there, but we'll leave it there. Catch us in our normal slot on a Saturday morning, our weekly slot rather, on a Saturday morning on Top FM 95.5 FM. 10 a.m. till midday. Me, D-Man, Big Sam. Hopefully have Gallagher back regularly real soon. And that page is at D&D Footy Factory _ on the Twitter and on the Instagram. But anything in regards to the podcast, please use the at D&D Footy Pod page, or you could use the hashtag DD Footy Pod. Hit us up. Let us know what if you might have a different team in the season to us, player of the season, goal of the season. But yeah, holler at us. You get me? But yeah, and my personal Twitter is at double D. That's DUBULDW. D-Man.
Yes, you can find me on the socials, Insta and Twitter at IlPhenomenal25. Phenomenal with the F. If you can't spell it, you can't follow me, but it's there at the bottom of the screen. So yeah.
Uncle Big Stelios.
Yeah. Shoot the Defense podcast. No Chofdes podcast. Instagram at Shaystel. And yeah, Omoni allows Gibel. Let's fucking do this. I'm wanting not yours, but anyone else.
So next time we speak to you, Omoni would have won the cup, yeah?
Hopefully, man. Honestly. I'm fucking petrified. We're playing against a team that is relegated. They went down.
So were you saying
problems this season?
Were you saying Wigan Man City settings, yeah?
Yeah, and the thing is, one of my mates plays for them as well. One of my mates plays for them, so it's going to be nervy, but...
What's in that brown paper bag?
But you know what? To be honest, yeah, like it's the way I see it is that obviously it's a cup final, anything can happen, but we should obliterate them. The way that we've been playing lately under this new manager, you know, what you talk about, like Eddie Howe has completely changed it. Like with us, all right, Berg did brilliant, winning he won back-to-back titles.
Who is it now? Neil Lennon.
And the thing is, like, the back end of Berg's tenure, the players, it's almost as if like they were drained mentally. The focus wasn't there. But Lennon's come in, and it took him a couple of weeks to get settled. But we played Anorthosis, which is like one of our rivals, in the first leg of the cup. We went to their stadium, and when I tell you we battered them, and it was like, fuck, where has this come from? And in the second leg, we were down to 10 men after 8 minutes. And they played 82 minutes with 10 men, and we got a 1-1 draw. Obviously, we're in the final now. So, yeah, the players are focused. There's been a big improvement in fitness, in running statistics. Things have turned good for us. So yeah, fingers crossed. I'm not going in there complacent. I know it's going to be a difficult game. As I said, they've given us problems this season. They've beaten us a couple of times. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. The stadium's going to be rocking. It's going to be fucking... Well, there's going to be 9,000 of our fans there, and it's a 12,000 stadium. So, yeah, it's going to be mental. So, keep an eye out on Instagram, because I'm going to be doing a lot of videos. And if we win, I'm going to go to the party at the training ground. There's going to be another 10,000 fans. So, it's going to be, yeah, but Dibaxilo, as we say, touch wood, we get the thing anyway. Too much.
Come on, the body. Right. Big Sammy, socials.
Socials, Twitter at Big Sam A79. And on Instagram at Sam the Man Who Can.
Excellent. And last but not least, the life. Hit up the people, Mr. Flex in the City.
Yeah, just Twitter Flex in the City. Instagram, I don't know you and I don't like you like that, so don't add me there. I'm not telling you what that
is. this guy, you know.
Yeah, right? just Twitter. Follow me there, and follow the DD Footy Factory on TikTok. It's just DD Footy Factory. It's not me just looking at random gal. It is actually football footage and days out that I've had with Arsenal away, which I'll be doing more of next season as well. Yeah, so hit us up on TikTok as well. We got that popping.
Yep. And D&D Footy Factory on Facebook too. we're on there. You get me? So yeah. So that's it for episode 22, the end of season awards. Thank you very much for listening, people. We are out.
Peace.
Peace.